Hello friends, dear learners and my dear student. First upon I take an opportunity to welcome you at my MSc Analytical Chemistry class. Friends, I am Dr. S.R. Labde working as Associate Professor in Chemistry at KTChem College Nasi. Student, in previous lecture we discussed the normal pulse voltammetry. In normal pulse voltammetry we optimize the ratio of Faraday current to non-Faraday current to get greater extent, and we can increase the sensitivity of analyte measurement up to 10 raised to minus 8 moles. Student, in today's lecture we will discuss the differential pulse voltammetry. In normal pulse voltammetry, a sigmoidal voltammogram is obtained and which is free from the noise in the region of residual current and limiting current. As the current sample measurement is carried out and residual current and limiting current is free from the noise, it is easy to draw the baseline for calculation of diffusion current or a Faraday current. Therefore, in this case, in normal pulse voltammetry, the sensitivity is increased by careful sampling of currents which separate the influence of a non-Faraday current. That means in normal pulse voltammetry, in this case, this is a point that is at which this is a potential as a function of time. Here, this is an application of potential pulse, and here in this case the residual current is decay. This is a decay of residual current. This is a decay of non-Faraday current, and here little bit Faraday current is also decreases and it becomes constant at the end of the lifetime of the mercury drop. This is a Faraday current. And in normal pulse voltammetry, current measurement is carried out 17 milliseconds before the drop falls, by which we can attain the maximum sensitivity because we eliminate the interference of non-Faraday current. Simply it is possible by sampling the current just before the drop fall into the analyte solution. That is, the current sample measurement is carried out at the end of the life of the mercury drop, and hence the value of Faraday current to non-Faraday current increases sufficiently and that increases the sensitivity of measurement up to 10 raised to minus 8 moles. However, there is one error, that is because of the background current associated with the non-Faraday current. However, the background current is associated with the Faraday current is not removed completely in normal pulse voltammeter. So in order to remove the interference of this background current, the current measurement is carried out differently, and in this case the interference of background current, that is a current associated with nature of supporting electrolyte, that is like to residual current, as well as like it is the depends upon the interference of background current. Background current means that is a current which is generally related with the nature of a electrolyte solution or analyte solution, as well as the nature of supporting electrolyte and other ingredients present in the sample solution. Due to this, the background current is always associated with Faraday current, and interference of background current also decreases the sensitivity of measurement, and so in order to increase the sensitivity by removing this background current, a differential pulse voltammetry is used. Therefore, the interference of background current can be eliminated by differential pulse voltammetry. Now this is a potential switch, this is a current, this is not a potential, this is current in ampere, current in microampere. This is a potential pulse application program shown in the normal pulse voltammetry, and in this case we observe that when we apply a potential pulse to the working electrode, there is a larger decay of non-Faraday current, and we can carry out the current measurement 17 milliseconds just before the drop falling into the analyte solution, where the magnitude of non-Faraday current is negligible or it is nearly equal to 0. Therefore, Faraday current is more. In order to eliminate the background current from the Faraday current, here two current measurements are carried out in differential pulse voltammetry. That is 17 milliseconds just before the application of potential pulse and 17 milliseconds just before the drop falling into the analyte solution. Here this current measurement, that is before application of potential pulse, this current is sampled instrumentally and which is subtracted from this Faraday current which is sampled at the end of the pulse, and here subtraction process gives only Faraday current which is free from the background current. Therefore, background current is eliminated by subtracting current which is sampled just before the application of pulse. Therefore, potential pulse voltammetry, a series of potential pulses, that is delta E, of fixed but small amplitude are if superimposed over a linearly increase the DC potential ramp. That means in normal pulse voltammetry, we superimpose the potential pulse over the base potential. That is the minimum potential at which electrolysis of the analyte is possible. In this case, the base potential is linearly increasing. Over that linearly increasing base potential, that is direct current potential, a direct current potential pulse are applied or superimposed, and two current measurements are carried out. The nature of the application of this now we discuss the voltage sweep program in differential pulse voltammetry. In this case, this is a graph of applied EMF versus time in second. Initially, the base potential, that will be the linearly increasing DC potential, and that is a base potential here. Over this base potential, a potential pulses are superimposed. Over this base potential, the potential pulse of small but fixed amplitude here one pulse is applied, here another pulse is applied, here third pulse is applied, then here fourth pulse is applied, like this. In this case, this is a base potential. Here, this is a delta E, that is a magnitude, or we can say amplitude of pulse. Over this base potential, this pulse is superimposed in this way, and here we have a current voltage program like this. In this case, this is a point where drop is generated, and this is a point at which drop is given into the solution. Again new drop is generated. Here drop is given into the solution. Again new drop is generated. This is a drop given in solution. This point to this point, This is called as drop time. Drop time in second, that is 3 to 5 seconds. In this case, pulse amplitude is fixed, but base potential is linearly increasing. These are the instants of drop fall. That means this point and this point. These are the instants at which drop is falls in the solution, and this is a time interval, that is a lifetime of that particular dropping mercury electrode. Now how current measurement is carried out? One measurement is carried out just before the application of potential pulse, that is here, and another measurement is carried out at the end of the potential pulse. This is a 17 millisecond, and this is also a 17 millisecond. 17 millisecond. In this case, two measurements are carried out, current measurements. That is 17 millisecond just before the application of potential pulse and 17 millisecond just before the drop falling in the solution, as well as at the end of the potential pulse. That means 17 millisecond before the end of the potential pulse. These two currents are sampled. This current, which is associated with a background current, this current is also associated with background current, but from this total current, when this background current is subtracted, we have Faraday current. And therefore, sensitivity of measurement which can be increased up to 10 raised to minus 9 by differential pulse voltammetry, because we can eliminate the interference of background current. In differential pulse voltammetry, two current measurement are carried out during the lifetime of each Yaggi trough, that is dropping mercury electrode. When DME is used as a static mercury drop electrode is used as a electrode. Now one measurement is here and another measurement is here, and this is a time of 50 millisecond where a potential pulse is applied. This is the time interval in which a potential pulse is applied, that is 50 millisecond, and current measurement is carried out just before application of pulse and at the end of the application of at the end of the pulse. Therefore, one current measurement or one current is sampled, that is stored 70 millisecond just before the application of potential pulse, and second current measurement is carried out at the end of the potential pulse, that is carried out 17 millisecond before, 17 millisecond before the end of the potential pulse. Potential pulse, or just before the drop dislodged from tip of the capillary. That is, one current is sampled here, another current is sampled here. From this current is subtracted. Therefore, in differential pulse voltammetry, each cycle, for each cycle, the first current value is subtracted from the total current means containing a background current and a plot of the current difference versus applied DC potential produces a step peak set incremental derivative voltammogram. That voltammogram is a graph of current measured, that is I in microampere versus applied potential in millivolt. Here initially the background current is not associated with residual current. As analyte reacts, then here this step peak voltammogram is obtained in this way. Like this. From this point to this point, it is easy to draw the baseline. This is baseline. Both baseline are free from the noise. From this point to this point, we have a peak current, that is delta IP. This delta IP is directly proportional to concentration of analyte. In this case, this is a time interval from this point to this time, that is a drop time. And this is a potential at which peak is obtained, that is also called as peak potential, which is equal to half wave potential. Therefore, the peak maxima is directly equal to half wave potential or peak current, which is the identity of the material. And delta IP, that is directly proportional to concentration of the material. Therefore, both delta IP as well as E1 have easily determined from this step peak set incremental derivative voltammogram, which is like this. Here asymmetrical steps are obtained on the both sides of this peak, and peak maxima is obtained at the half wave potential of that analyte. Therefore, in differential pulse voltammetry, the peak maxima, the peak maxima is at even half and peak current is directly proportional to the concentration of analyte that undergo reduction at working electrode. Here, this is the voltage sweep program used in differential pulse voltammetry. It is little bit differs from the normal pulse voltammetry. In normal pulse voltammetry, only current measured in the second step, that is plotted as a function of voltage. Here current difference is plotted as a function of voltage, and therefore it is called as differential pulse voltammetry. Differential means difference between these two current. Therefore it is a differential pulse voltammetry. And here this current maxima and this peak current is related with concentration by this equation that is called as Talley and Oster-Young equation. By this equation, the peak current, that is delta IP, is equal to NFAC under root D upon pi into T into sigma minus 1 upon sigma plus 1. This equation gives the value of peak current. When we know the peak current, we can easily determine the concentration. In this equation, where sigma is equal to exponential and n is equal to number of electrons involved in redox reaction, F is Faraday's constant, A is electrode area in centimeter, electrode area in square centimeter, C is concentration in millimoles, then D is diffusion coefficient square centimeter per second of analyte, and pi is constant. T is the time, that is 50 millisecond, that is the time of application of potential pulse, and here in this equation delta IP is directly proportional to concentration, as well as by this equation you know here delta is E watt. Therefore peak current is directly proportional to concentration as well as directly proportional to the pulse amplitude. If pulse amplitude is more, then peak current is more. Therefore for analyte measurement, as it is a comparative method, peak amplitude of the potential pulse, that is kept constant for measurement of sample and standard, then this peak current is directly proportional to the concentration. In this way, by this equation, we can increase the sensitivity of measurement up to the 10⁻⁹ moles in differential pulse voltammetry. This is possible because of we carry out the current sample process, as well as by which we can eliminate the interference of background current, and therefore sensitivity of the measurement is increased up to 10⁻⁹ moles. Student, with our today's discussion you can find out the answer of following question, that is, what is differential volt? What is differential pulse voltammetry? How the current measurement and voltage sweep program with program is carried out. Program is carried out in differential pulse multimetry. Second question, why the sensitivity of second question is that why sensitivity of differential pulse multimetry is more than the normal pulse multimetry. And the answer of this question is that in normal pulse multimetry we eliminate the interference of non-Faraday current, but we does not eliminate the interference of background current. But in differential pulse multimetry we can eliminate the interference of background current as well as interference of non-Faraday current, and therefore sensitivity of analyte measurement is up to 10 raised to minus 9 moles in differential pulse multimetry. Student, this is all about the differential pulse multimetry. In forthcoming lecture, we discuss the square wave multimetry in order to measure the concentration below 10 raised to minus 9 moles. With this, we stop here. Thanks for joining me. Keep learning. Happy learning.